Parental fatigue, burnout. If you're feeling this, we get it. But there's one thing we use when we're feeling depleted. It's called Rehydrate. Delicious electrolytes that increase blood flow to your brain, organs, and nervous system, boosting your energy without anything nasty. Magic.
Next time you're feeling flat, give Rehydrate a go. Available at Coles.
This is the Happy Families podcast with Dr. Justin Coulson. We are Luke and Susie, and this is the podcast for time-poor parents who just want answers now.
Luke Averill has written to us with a question. It's kind of a general question about the state of our lives today. Everyone is busy and working hard. There's a lot going on. And she's asked whether the time we're spending with our children today is actually quality time.
Yeah.
And what does define it as quality anyway? To help answer this question, Dr. Justin Coulson from happyfamilies.com.au.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you. This is a
Good to have some quality time.
It is good to have some quality time. Difficult question to answer, I think. So that's why we're throwing it to you. How do you tell if you're having quality time?
If your eyes meet one another's eyes, if you can, engage with each other without interruptions, chances are it's going to be some form of quality time. If your eyes are looking at a screen and if you're not really talking to each other, chances are it's not quality time. Look, it really is that simple. In terms of what the data tell us, both mums and dads are spending more time with their children today than they have in decades. So that's great. Mums are still doing the bulk of the quote-unquote parenting, and research shows that when dads are more involved with parenting, that mum and dad are happier together. But in terms of time together, the numbers are on the rise. The numbers are still, I think, dreadfully low, especially for dads, but they're on the rise, which is really good news. I think dads are spending on average 14 minutes per day one-on-one with their kids. 14 minutes. I mean, hello, hallelujah, how exciting. 14 minutes, kids, let's do it now. We're running. You can't build a relationship when you're looking at the clock. You need to be looking at each other's eyes. Mums spend just over an hour with their kids per day, in that sort of one-on-one dealing with the kids sort of stuff. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's quality time. Yeah. That includes the wear your shoes, get your shoes. How many times do I have to tell you?
Have you brushed your teeth?
I've told you to make your bed 5 times. So we're talking about time with kids one-on-one, not necessarily quality time. And I wouldn't suggest that time giving children instruction is necessarily going to be quality time.
Can I ask about that one-on-one?
Yes.
Do you mean with each child?
Yeah.
That a mum is spending an hour with each child every day, around about an hour?
Around about that, 1.25 hours every day. Now, bear in mind that the average Australian family is not like mine with 6 children. Yeah. Not possible for us to spend 1 hour per day with our children. But the average family has about 2 kids, 2.3 or something like that, which means that parents could conceivably spend about an hour a day with each of their kids by the time they do bath and meal time and story time and get the kids off to school.
And that would be inflated with the infant level. It would be higher, I would imagine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Than as they get older.
Yeah, for sure. So that's immensely doable, believe it or not. But dads, quite literally 14-ish minutes per day. That was the last stat that I looked at from 2016, I think. Yeah. So we can definitely do better. But in terms of quality time, that means that you're doing stuff together. I think the best way to do it is just sit down tonight when you're at the dining table, having dinner together with the screens off, and look at the kids and say, what's the best time we've had together as a family lately? And I guarantee nobody is going to have a child that says, do you remember last Saturday when we all sat in the lounge room and stared at our screens?
Yeah.
And watched YouTubes? With our headphones in. That was the best family time ever. Yeah, they're going to say, we went camping, or we went to, the theme parks, or we went to the beach, or we went on that hike, or we went for that bike ride, or we went to the park. They're going to talk about things that you've done together. Maybe you pulled out the Skip Bow or the Uno cards or the Phase 10 cards, and you played that for an hour and a half last weekend, or maybe you're one of those families that does jigsaw puzzles or something. I don't know. And everyone does their own thing, right? Yeah. Kicked the footy, played netball. They're going to say those things, and that's your cue. You don't need a parenting expert to tell you how to have quality time. Ask your kids; they'll tell you.
Great.
Let me ask you something specific to see. Does this count as quality in your mind? Going grocery shopping. I know that
It
sounds.
could.
I know it sounds
could.
silly, but so often when I have a short trip, like, and I'm not talking about this big, everything stressful, time specific. I've got 3 kids who are often they love their screens, and so if I'm just going to go to the shops, I go right, which one, and I take one of them with me every single time. It makes it slower for me. But I go, no, this is where we're going to, as we walk up and down the aisles, we're going to talk. I'm going to get them to go get the bread for me because it's something that they can do and just get them involved. So we're hanging out, doing something together. I know it's grocery shopping, and I know, but we have conversations. Does that count?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's good, there's better, and there's best.
Yeah.
It's clearly not camping.
Yes.
But you know what? We've got to do the groceries. And if you're going to go down to the shops, so much better to take one of the kids with you and talk to them about their day, find out what's going on, talk to them about the party that's coming up or, you know, the outing that they've got with a friend. Why not? That's perfect. That's quality time.
Yeah. I can't say that they're necessarily enamoured by it yet because they did paper, rock, scissors and the loser had to go with me.
You need to make it better quality, Luke.
I think it was more me competing with the screens than anything else.
That's right. And you can't compete sometimes, can you?
No, cannot. But, and we have a great time when we're there, and they come back all excited. But it was the thought of them leaving the device. But I go, part of it that's sort of a lifestyle that maybe we're a part of as well, and I want to break that, and I want to go like, yes, we kick the footy, and yes, I take them to AFL games, and we have this dedicated time together. But I think even those day-to-day things that we can do, for me, that's what I've been trying to do. So I just wanted to get a tick of approval.
Good Dad Award goes to Luke.
Yes. Yes. I'd like to thank my mum. And
There's a couple of other things that we can do, though. So in our home, we try to have one games night a week. We try to have Super Saturday every Saturday, which means that everyone gets up nice and early and we go and do something as a family. But you know what? I've got 3 teenagers.
Yep.
And sometimes when the alarm goes off at 5:30 on Saturday morning so that we can get where we're going and have a great day before it gets too hot, I'll have some teenagers that just...
So they're like Luke.
You know, and every now and again we just say, look, choice is yours. And sometimes they choose not to have that quality time.
Yeah.
We don't want to force it because there's nothing worse than trying to drag a 14-year-old whinging, whining, complaining teenager to the top of a 5K hike up a mountain. It just doesn't work.
well, there probably is something. Just trying to drag a 40-year-old whinging, whining
Yeah, maybe.
father.
Maybe. But it's about that quality time.
Yes.
It's about making sure that they know that they're valued and that they're wanted and that we're interested in them.
Yep. So you talked about, I mean, and eyeballing is one of the key things. But for me, and tell me if this works and fits your criteria. For me, I'll go, what's the subconscious message that I'm sending the kids? And I got challenged by this because I counted time where I sat in the lounge room watching the same TV show as them, and then realizing that I wasn't necessarily choosing them. And so I went to my question I asked myself is the subconscious message they're going to get from this time that I've chosen them over work, that I've chosen them over other things, that they know that they've got my attention?
Look, it's a really tricky one. I'm so glad you brought that up because there's some screen time in our house that works for us to have quality time. A couple of my girls, my second and third eldest, they're both in their teens now, and they've fallen in love with a TV show. They just love The Flash. Mm-hmm. And we have quality time with them 1 or 2 nights a week. We sit down and we watch an episode with them, Kylie, myself, and those 2 kids.
Yeah.
And they love it. And they sit there and they giggle and they laugh at the TV. And then they look at us and they're like, isn't this awesome? And we're like, sure, it's great.
Amazing.
But you enter their world.
We've gone into their world. That's right. So I started off by saying that if there's screens involved, it's not going to be quality time. But I need to just backpedal from that a fraction because sometimes by honouring what they value, we get to enter their world and show that we care about them.
Is that where what I was saying before about effectively you've subconsciously communicated to them, you've chosen
That's
them
correct.
and their needs
I've
and
chosen
their
them
interests. Yeah.
because they know that is literally the only. I don't watch TV. Zero.
Yeah.
That's just I don't have time for it, and they know that that's my life philosophy. I just don't have time for TV, and so they know that I am making a very deliberate choice to have that time with them, and they actually treasure it.
It's quite interesting because even with Susie and I, there's a show that we have that we love, and a new episode comes out on Netflix each week, and we don't watch it individually. Like we wait until we get a time where that's our thing together, and whether it be first thing in the morning or whether it be after the kids are in bed at night, we watched Designated Survivor together.
That's right.
And it's almost like, and the mere fact that it's something we share, it makes it a bit more special than just watching an episode of a TV show.
I'll still always argue that time away from screens will be of a higher quality.
Yeah.
But I want to,
Yeah. You haven't seen Designated Survivor.
I haven't seen it.
So what was the question that we're asking around the dinner table tonight?
The question that you want to ask is, what was the best time we've had as a family recently? What's been our favourite time together?
Great to get some insight into what our children see as quality time with us. Great question, Avril. Thank you so much for sending that through. And thank you, Dr. Justin Coulson from happyfamilies.com.au.
Pleasure.
Well, if you'd like some more information on how parenting can be a little bit easier in your family, there's resources available at the website happyfamilies.com.au. Or if you're interested in having Dr. Justin Coulson speak at your community group, organisation or event, you can find out more at justincoulson.com.